And what do you think about this? What is the prototype of the sailor suit? Do I have the image of sailor suit? Oh, I didn't bring it. In my essay, I don't know whether you've read it, but I have a essay on Christian school uniforms in East Asia. You can see the prototype of it. Originally, where does it come from? The Royal Navy. Navy, like the military unit for the oceans, right? It was a British Navy's clothes, not the high rank, but like the sailors working on the dock, those people's clothes. And then Japanese people, they adopted it from 1910s. But what's interesting is they made a sailor suit, right, like a male sailor's suit for girls' school uniforms. Boys, they don't wear the sailor uniform. They wear something else. So in Japan, that's like a prototype. You have 3 lines on the sleeve, cuffs, and you have 3 lines for your flap, and then you have a ribbon, and then you can wear with a pleated skirt or pants sometimes. So this one is from 1950s. But men, so boys, they always wore this. This one is also a variation of the Zhongshan suit. It's composed of the jacket and the pants. And then they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 buttons. And then it's topped with the hat. But all of these components, the prototype is military uniform. So boys wear military uniform, and then the girls also wear the Royal Navy military uniforms, but with lots of variations. This one, I study textile companies. So it says smart, and this is a, synthetic textiles marketed as other school uniforms, uniform materials. Back in, these are like 1970s. So 1970s, each school had their own design, more or less like this prototype, but they have their variation. You can have like a burgundy red for jacket and skirt, or your skirt is not flare skirt, it can be pleated skirt, or your skirt can be a little bit of A-line skirt. I mean, there are variations, but this is a Korean company called SK Textile, and they created that, the synthetic textiles with polyester suitable for school uniforms. So polyester, combination of polyester and cotton. And then if you becomes the summertime, they also advertise the summer uniform. So in Britain, France, or North America, unless you go to Catholic school or private school, your expectation is you wear just regular, normal clothes. But in Taiwan, and then Korea, and then Japan, throughout the 20th century, students always wore some sort of school uniforms. Imagine you wear this for 3 years in middle school and 3 years in high school. You wear this for 6 years. But more and more, I'm also thinking about the culture of school uniforms. Like you go to school for 12 years, right? Long time ago, even college students also wore school uniforms. Still in South Asia, college students have school uniforms. So after you wear school uniforms for 12 years, you may have a brief freedom of 4 years in college, and then you go back to workforce, right? You either go to the airline industry, or you work in the museums, or food industry, hospitality. What happens? You go back to workplace uniforms. And that is very prominent in China, Taiwan, Japan, and Korea, more from 1990s, when we have the neo-liberalism, like it's a very pro-business type of ideology. And a lot of companies introduced their CI, corporate identity, the logo. It's almost like a military group. And because you have a CI in blue background and white letter, your employees should also wear that color, dark blue. And then they want to remind that French feeling of a Parisian, so they came up with this striped shirt, and then you wear that French beret, and that's the idea. And we are so used to the airlines, right? Like these colors are adopted for the airplane paint outside, right? And then if you go inside, sit down, then their seats or their carpets or some magazine covers reflect these type of color schemes. And then these poor flight attendants, they also wear the color of their company, right? This is expected of. And then, do you know Din Tai Fung? It's a big franchise restaurant in Taiwan. Also, you have a franchise here in the U.S. as well. And I'm sure, let me see who said in the chat. Somebody said, I've been to Din Tai Fung, right? They say uniforms make it so much easier to find the right flight since each other. Oh, Amanda, can you share your experience?
Yeah, so I went to Japan last year, and I actually got to see what you were just talking about with like uniforms literally everywhere. So it was very interesting since we don't have as many uniforms here. But with the airlines, it was so much easier to kind of navigate the airports because each airline would have like a completely separate uniform, but like it was like really noticeable with the colors and everything. Like I think Delta, which was the one that I was usually flying, was like completely red, and it was just a lot easier to navigate.
Yeah, so yeah, behind the workplace uniform, as you will study in your design classes, there are functionality. It's all about functionality, right? Not in order to accentuate their beauty or their individuality. It's more like a convenience of people. And then what if they float in the ocean after they went into the accident, right? Those kind of rationale. Yeah, but like this is growing, and let's say you create your own company, right? Let's say Amanda opened a new bakery in her own town. What would you like to do for your workers? Do you want them to wear a logo designed or logo related uniform, or do you want them to wear any clothes, or what's your idea, Amanda? Mandy?
I guess just grabbing like inspiration from what's around.